Hi, welcome back. This is the second video on working with and manipulating quadratic functions in order to move between your different forms. The last video focused on factoring. This one will focus on completing the square. Completing the square will take you from standard to vertex form. And again, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, and vertex is a times x minus h squared plus k. Alright, so just like in the last video, we're going to do this with a parabola that's got some numbers in it. That way you can see where it's going. And I'm actually going to use the exact same parabola and the exact same quadratic from the previous video. It was y equals 2x squared plus 12x minus 14. And the first thing we need to do when we are completing the square is to get my leading coefficient, the number in front of x squared, to be a 1. In order to do that, I need to factor out this 2 here. So, factoring is a division operation in essence. So I'm dividing 2x squared by 2. When I do that, I'm left with x squared. When I divide 12x by 2, I'm left with 6x. And when I divide 14 by 2, I'm left with negative 7. Sorry, that was a negative 14 divided by 2. My apologies. Now the goal here is to get to x minus h squared, or some set of factors from this that will be the exact same item. So x minus h times x minus h, with some number added out on the end and some number in here. So what do these factors look like when I start expanding them? Well, that would get me x squared minus hx minus hx plus h squared. And this will get me x squared minus 2hx plus h squared. And again, I'm only looking at this little section here. The reason I'm doing this is to show that whatever number I have next to my x term in my, well, what looks to be standard form looking at this, it should be half of this h value, and whatever this squared value is should be exactly this number here squared. So let's see if that works. I'm going to take 6 and divide it by 2, because it should be double what I want for my h value. And I'm going to see if that squared is 7. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Squared is going to give me 9. And 9 is clearly not the same as 7. Now, I want this number to be my c value for my standard form. So, I'm just going to force it to do that. So I'm going to say 2, that's that 2 there, and x squared plus 6x, and now, if this was going to do what I wanted, I would have plus 9 here. Now, I'm not allowed to just add randomly into a problem. I have to add and subtract to make sure I've really only added 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring down this minus 7 here, and we'll separate that a little bit. Okay, and now let's do a little bit of grouping to focus on what we want. We put that plus 9 in there because it fit this pattern that I talked about over here. The reason that we do this, the reason that we stick the 9 in there, is that the way we've created this set of parentheses in red, it will always factor into x minus or plus some number squared. It will get us our x minus h squared. Now, that h value should always be half of this number, and half of that should be the same as the square root of this number out here. It should always turn out to be this number that you have in this parentheses here before you square it. So you should get 2 times x, it's a plus 3, squared, and then I'll just bring down the rest of my problem. And just a little bit more work here, some simplification. Negative 9 minus 7 is minus 16. And then I'm going to distribute that 2. Sorry, I forgot my squared term here. When I send this 2 in, I'm going to have 2 times x plus 3 squared, and then that 2 times a negative 16 gives you a minus 32. Please note that I don't put this 2 into this set of parentheses. The reason being that here I'm saying 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 3. If I send the 2 in, I'm saying 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 6. And these are not the same thing. This is the incorrect way to do that. Just go ahead and leave this 2 sitting out here on the end. Now, you may notice that we have an a value, happens to be 2, and x, here we have a plus 3 minus h, so that just means our h value is a negative 3. To get a minus a negative to make a positive, and our k is a minus 32. Now, one thing you may be wondering about is this step where I factored here. You may not quite believe me that that'll factor out every time, but I'll at least prove it to you for this situation. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the steps for factoring. If you'd like some more information on that, please go look at the previous video I posted on factoring quadratics. But I will go through most of it. So this becomes x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. We'll group those first two and those last two terms. X times x plus 3 plus 3 times x plus 3, which will give you x plus 3 times x plus 3 for a grand total of an x plus 3 squared. And there you have it. Just a little bit of proof. So, this process that you see here is called completing the square, and it will take you from standard form to vertex form. And we do this in large part to find the vertex of our equation. It's always h comma k. So in this case it would be negative 3, negative 32. And in addition, we use vertex form to graph most of our parabolas. And I will cover that more in a later video. Thanks for watching.